Hello students, I'm Dr. Beena P, Assistant Professor of Physics. In this video, I'm explaining a detailed theory of diffraction at straight edge under the topic diffraction of light. Let us take up diffraction at straight edge. To understand this theory, we should have basic information regarding diffraction of light, its intensity distribution, and Fresnel zones, which is explained in my previous videos. Diffraction is bending of light around the corners of an edge or aperture or obstacle. Let us take up a source of light S of wavelength lambda and a straight edge AB and a screen at a finite distance. The distance between the source S and the obstacle with an edge is A, and distance between the straight edge and screen is B. XY is a cylindrical wavefront. Now look at this figure. Here, light should form illuminated region above P and a shadow or a darker region below P on the screen, according to the laws of geometrical optics. But it's not true. Instead, uniform brightness is not observed above P, but alternate dark and bright bands of unequal width and decreasing intensity is formed. That is, as we move away from P, the density of brightness and bright and dark bands goes on decreasing and finally they disappear. Below P, instead of darkness, illumination is observed for some distance, that is for a small distance, and farther from B, darkness is observed. Let us study the condition for this phenomena to occur. That is, now let us divide the wavefront XY to number of half-period zones like AM1, M1, M2, M2, M3, which measures the thickness of the first, second, third, etc. half-period strips. The area of the half-period zones decreases with increase of order. A is the pole of the wavefront XY and AP is equal to B. Similarly, PM1 is equal to B plus lambda by 2, PM2 is equal to B plus 2 lambda by 2 and so on. I have discussed this in my previous video of Fresnel's half-period zones. The path difference observed in case of each successive zone increases by lambda by 2. Now let us see the intensity at the point P dash. Let P dash be a point on the screen in the illuminated region. To calculate the resultant effect at P due to wavefront XY, we have to join SP dash and this meets the wavefront at A dash. Now A dash forms the pole of the wavefront with respect to point P dash. And the intensity at P dash mainly depends upon the number of half-period zones enclosed between the point A and A dash. For point P, A is the pole of the wavefront. For point P dash, only upper half of the wavefront A dash is exposed, whereas lower half AY of the wavefront is blocked by the edge AB. So the point P dash will be of maximum intensity if the half-period zones enclosed between A and A dash is odd, and the intensity at P dash will be minimum if the number of half-period zones enclosed between A and A dash is even. Now let us identify the position of maximum intensity or minimum intensity at any point above P. For that, let us consider this figure and join a line from A to P dash. So, we will take up P dash is equal to X. Then we have to take the path difference of the waves
which are emerging from the exposed part A dash A. So for that, path difference delta is equal to AP dash minus A dash P dash. In the figure, from the triangle APP dash, AP dash whole square is equal to AP square plus PP dash square, or AP dash square is equal to B square plus X square, or you can take up AP dash is equal to root of B square plus X square. Hence, in this equation, A dash P dash can be written as SP dash minus SA dash. So we will get our equation now becomes the path difference delta is equal to B square plus X square to the power of half minus SP dash minus SA dash. Let us retain the first term. Here, SP dash in the second term can be written as A plus B whole square plus X square from the triangle SPP dash, and SA dash is almost equal to A. On substitution, we are going to get these equations, and finally delta is equal to X square by 2 into A divided by B into A plus B. The point P dash will be of maximum intensity if the path difference between the waves that is emerging from A to A dash is 2n plus 1 into lambda by 2. So on applying this path difference to the above equation, 2n plus 1 lambda by 2 is equal to xn square divided by 2 into A divided by B into A plus B, or you'll finally get on substitution xn is equal to root of 2n plus 1 into A plus B n lambda divided by A, where xn is actually the position of maximum intensity and it is proportional to root of 2n plus 1. That is, xn is the distance of nth bright band from P. Similarly, P dash will be of minimum intensity if the path difference between the waves coming from the exposed part A dash to be 2n lambda by 2. So, if we substitute the value of delta in the equation, then we get 2n lambda by 2 is equal to xn square by 2 into A divided by B into A plus B, or xn is equal to root of 2n into A plus B into n lambda divided by A, where xn is the nth dark band from P. So we observe here the xn, that is for bright band, it depends upon root of 2n plus 1, and for dark band it depends upon root of n, that is xn for minimum intensity depends on root of n. So the different bands of varying intensity are observed above the geometrical shadow, that is above P, and the bands disappear and uniform illumination occurs if P dash is very far away from P. Now let us take up the intensity at a point inside the geometrical shadow region and its intensity curve. If P double dash is a point below P and A double dash is a pole of the wavefront with respect to P double dash, then the half period zones below A double dash are cut off by the obstacle which is used, and only uncovered half period zones above A double dash will be effective in producing the illumination at P double dash. As P double dash moves farther from P, more number of half period zones will be cut off and then intensity gradually falls. The intensity distribution on the screen due to a straight edge is shown in the figure. In the illuminated region, alternate dark and bright bands of gradually decreasing intensity will be observed, and the intensity falls off gradually in the geometrical shadow region. According to wave theory, the shadow cast by the obstacles in the path of light are not sharp. Hence, rectilinear propagation of light is only approximately true. There is a gradual fading of intensity in the geometrical shadow region, and with monochromatic light, bright and dark bands are observed in the illuminated region of the screen. Now let us discuss about diffraction due to straight wire. The light from source S falls on the wire and passes at the edges of the wire and falls on the screen. The position between M and N must be a shadow region. That is, when a monochromatic light passes around a fine wire, a diffraction pattern is observed at the screen placed on other side of the wire. The central point intensity is very large and decreases on the sides till it becomes zero. See here, in case of a wire, you can use a human hair also. The intensity at point P on the screen depends on number of half-period zones. We have to see that the number of half-period zones is even or odd. The edges of the wire A and B behaves as coherent sources. The point P is bright because equal amount of light reaches from point A and B at P. There is no path difference between the rays. Whenever path difference is zero, the point will be very bright. Alternate dark and bright bands of decreasing intensity is formed as the distance distance moves away from P till M above and point N below. Next, let us see another picture. Let us consider the point P1 in this figure. In this case, the difference between AP1 and BP1 gives a path difference. This results in formation of dark and bright bands between M and N. The fringe width observed is beta, which is equal to lambda d by d. That is, lambda is wavelength of light. D, capital D, is the distance between the wire and the screen, and small d is the length of the wire. The distinction between maxima and minima will be poor as one move away from the edge of the shadow region. In this experiment, in place of a wire, we can use a thin wire or a thick wire. The intensity distribution for thin wire and thick wire is shown as in picture. When a thin wire is used, good diffraction pattern of dark and bright bands is observed in the geometrical shadow region. As the thickness of the wire increases, width of the interference fringes decreases and the fringes cannot be distinguished. So the intensity falls rapidly in the geometrical shadow region. So here we are coming to the end of the session. So in this session, we have gained enough understanding on diffraction at straight edge and diffraction due to a straight wire. To know more about diffraction phenomena, you can refer textbooks like Optics by Ajay Ghatak and Textbook of Optics by Brijlal and Subramaniam. Thank you.